Now, with great honor, we invite you to experience the magic of the real love through our series of programs. Let's continue with part 12.
Warning, you might find the content herein disturbing, but the truth must be revealed.
Here they are, our other beautiful MCs.
Beautiful, beautiful.
In case you haven't noticed, we all share something in common, which is that we're all vegan.
Wow, bless you,
And
bless
we
you.
all love Don McLean, who is setting up backstage right now. So you will have to endure us for just a few moments while the band sets up. Does anybody want to share a story of the best vegetarian meal they ever had, or how they ended up becoming vegetarian, or why they love animals?
Well, one of the things one of my friends said to me the other day, who's vegan, that I thought he made such a great point. He said, "Have you ever met an unhappy vegan?" And I thought, no, I haven't. You know, we're putting such love out into the world, into the environment, that we're just really showing our happiness and our love. I've never met an unhappy vegan. Have you guys?
No, that's true. Right, you're right. They just have a wonderful energy to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I became vegetarian many, many years ago, but then really started getting active in the animal movement. I personally have an animal organization that does large-scale rescues.
And unbelievable.
Thank you. Kristen works with us. And for me, it was about watching an undercover fur video. And when I saw it, what I saw was happening, because I loved animals my entire life. And yet I found myself very surprised that I didn't have any idea what was really happening to them. And I had no idea what was really happening to animals. They just existed, and I thought they were wonderful and life was grand. But when I saw this on the screen, I was so taken aback. It was as if somebody had kicked me in the stomach, and I doubled over, and I just started sobbing uncontrollably. But it was that moment, that very poignant moment, that I said, my life is changed forever. And from that moment forward, my diets changed. I bought a new car to get rid of my leather interior. I threw out all the leather out of my closet. I went through all of my cabinets and found every single product that had been tested on animals, and I threw that out, and on and on and on. And so now my life is so enriched and so incredible because of this relationship that I have with animals now, and it's extended itself into the whole green world, not just with animals, but with the environment.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Anybody else want to hear Don McLean and the Don McLean Band?
We all like.
They need a few minutes, as most everyone here knows, to set up. And I am going to talk about being a vegetarian. I just want to say a little bit about Don. Don McLean discovered me years ago. He discovered me at the Troubadour back in 1972. Before I got St. Elsewhere, any of that, this wonderful man, this wonderful musician, who was a big star at that time, saw me play the Troubadour, and he thought I was amusing. And so he got me management, what have you, and I went on the road, and I opened for him in many other acts, thanks to Don McLean. Can we have a big thanks for Don McLean about that? I met him in 72, 1970. You asked about being a vegetarian. That's when I stopped eating red meat in 1970. I became a vegetarian in 1970, and I haven't had red meat since. Thank you. I strayed for a while. I was one of those people who's eating fish for a while. I wised up on that. That doesn't work for me anymore and has not for years. I'm a pure vegan now, and I've been doing that for quite a while. Thank you. But I started this journey in 1970, and I'm 62 years old, and I rode up from Laurel and Ventura to Mulholland this morning, as I do every morning. So when they say you don't have any strength if you're a vegetarian, that's not the way it is around my household. I feel very good. And as I said, I'm 62, and so it's a good diet. And I also became aware, not just how it might benefit me, Kristen and others, but how it benefited the animals, the factory farms, and these chickens and these hogs, the way they are, their whole life in one position for most of their life. They can't even move. It's not right. It really isn't right. Factory farms are bad. They're bad for the animals and they're bad for the environment. You go to a lot of rivers throughout the Midwest and you see what's happening there. There are really all these, this incredible amount of nitrogen and these pollutants and what have you, and the kind of manure and what have you that comes from a farm. They try to contain it in these big ponds and pools. It doesn't work, and it gets into the waterways, it gets in the groundwater. It's bad for the environment. Listen to Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s talk about that, and he'll tell you in no uncertain terms how these big factory farms are despoiling the commons. It's very old law that you're not allowed to despoil the commons. That's what they're doing. They're polluting the water, the groundwater, and the rivers and streams. But I've been doing this since 1970. That's when I started. It's 42 years later, and I feel pretty good.
So I'll try to get through this without crying, but I'm already starting. So I think that, what's important for me is to try to pull the thread and see where these things lead and really look for myself and have people decide for themselves. My mom bought laundry detergent, so I bought laundry detergent. And one day when I'm pouring it in, I thought, that's neon blue. And where does it go? Well, and then you start asking questions and comparing, and then I start looking at what, factory farming does to our land. Well, also genetically modified crops are doing horrible things. So it's just an investigation for me, because I find that, I love this story where someone went to Gandhi and said, hey, would you tell my kid to stop eating sugar? And he said, you come back in 2 weeks. So they came back to the same spot in 2 weeks, and Gandhi goes, stop eating sugar. And she's like, I was here 2 weeks ago, dude. What was with all that? And he said, well, I was still eating sugar. I was out traveling, and I'd gotten some plastic thing and was throwing it in the trash. That's really not that different, because that's putting oil back in earth. It's not my backyard, but it's somebody's. Our lives are so busy, and I'm doing Twitter and Facebook and married and laundry and what have you, but my thing is to just kind of slow down and look at the actions of my day and try to see what I'm supporting. Where were my clothes made? Who made these? How do they live? To think of the other guy that we don't see. And that's, of course, the ultimate in veganism.
I think what everybody is saying, and I think what's true for all of us, not just in this room, but as human beings, at some point you stop and try to figure out, whether it's your relationship or some other part of your life, whether or not you're being really true to what you believe and what you want to stand for. And we're all hypocrites. We're all imperfect. We all make compromises all the time. And we're all at some point along a path. Some may feel like they're further and some may be further behind, but as long as you feel like you're moving in a direction of being more true to who you really feel like you are, I think you're getting there. For me, that happened. A seminal moment in my life was in the early 80s. My wife and I were at a fairground in Maryland. There was a little pen of pigs. And for some months, my fiance at that time had decided that she really wanted to try to be vegetarian. She did the typical things. She eliminated red meat. And I had been resisting, as typically as men do. And even though I knew in my heart that for us it was the right thing. And I saw these little pigs in this pen, and the little baby piglets looked like little puppies. And I was like, oh, God, you're so good. I was bending down, and I put my hand up to the thing, and one came over and snuffled me. And my wife leaned down right next to me and very softly said, he still eats you. And I swear this little pig turned and looked at me and for me, I realized I can't do this anymore. And so on that day, I stopped that part of it. Now, before we wrap this up, I know there are a lot of animal people in this audience there. I know there are a lot of music fans. We've had a lot of celebrities here today. But I looked out in the audience a minute ago, and I saw somebody who is one of the real giants of this movement. I didn't know he was going to be here, but he's an old friend. And when I say giant, I mean giant. Alex, stand up, take a bow. Alex Pacheco.
Wow.
This is a guy that has seen stuff and done stuff that, as much as we all love animals, we would not have the stomach to do. So he's one of the heroes of all of this. So I thank you for listening to my story, and I think they're just about ready, and I know it's going to be great. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Alex. Thank you, all of you, for being vegans, vegetarian. God bless you. Wow, my favorite, Don McLean.
You've heard Don McLean in many wonderful songs and albums. Tapestry you've heard American Pie, and Vincent, great songs. He's a great friend, a great musician, a great songwriter. Please welcome to the stage, Don McLean and the Don McLean Band.
Thank you. Start off with a little Buddy Holly. Well, alright, so I'm going steady. It's alright when people say that those foolish kids can't be ready for the love that comes their way. Well, alright. We'll live and love with all our might. Well, alright. Our lifetime of love be alright. So I'm being foolish. It's alright when people know about the dreams and the wishes you wish. The night when lights are low. Well, alright. We'll live and love all our might. Well, alright. Our lifetime of love be alright. I'm crying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. But can't seem to get you off my mind. Crying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. You're the one I love, and I think about you all the time. Crying, my tears keep falling all night long. Waiting, it feels so useless. I know it's wrong to keep her crying. Waiting, hoping you'll come back. Maybe someday soon things will change and you'll be mine. Well, please don't tell, no, don't say that I told you so. I just heard a rumor from a friend. Well, I don't say that it's true. I'll just leave that up to you. If you don't believe, I'll understand. Do you recall the girl that's been in nearly every song? This is what I heard. Of course, the story could be wrong. She's the one I've been told. Now she's wearing a band of gold. Peggy Sue got married not long ago.
you, thank you.
The real love for me is love of your fellow man and your fellow creatures, you know, to love all the many creatures in the animal kingdom. And I'm a vegan. That's part of expressing that love, is to eat in that way with compassion. My name is Ed Begley, and happy anniversary, Supreme Master Ching Hai.
Usually I'm on stage, so I'm absolutely thrilled to be sitting in the audience and hear this wonderful music.
Anything that's connected with Supreme Master is something I'm very interested in.
This was an extremely elaborate event. It wasn't just a musical. It was a musical and a presentation and a concert and a coming together of, like-minded people for a very noble purpose, to share love and compassion. So I'm impressed. I think it's something very special and very unique that a network can come out and show the positive, and it's proving successful. So I think that's a pretty incredible thing. I just felt like the whole thing was like as if I were going to Broadway to watch it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this whole thing is about her life. That's so incredible. And I mean, what an honor to have, an entire musical written about you. I love people, and especially women, who can take leadership positions in the world and come from such a grounded and soft place. I admire that. Namaste. Just thank you for everything that you're doing, and it is a true honor to be here.
Noble viewers, we appreciate your company today for The Real Love, a musical that unites hearts, part 12 of a multi-part series.